Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to State of the Gaming Industry episode 24. If you are watching on YouTube, thank you for joining us. Hit that like button and subscribe. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please rate us 5 stars and all that good stuff. Leave a comment. So today we're going to be talking about a few things, not too many stories like last week. This won't be as long as I think last week was almost 50 minutes. This week there's less info and less news stories, but some like really interesting ones. So we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about so Nier's 15th anniversary that got announced by Square Enix. They're having a special like stream for that. We got Fable getting delayed to 2026. I did do a whole video on that and kind of talking about, you know, what does that mean? What is the kind of roadmap for Xbox look like for the next years, 1, 2, 3 years? The Pokemon Presents was earlier today or yesterday, so we'll talk about that. It wasn't that crazy, but again, we'll talk about the whole recap with that. And then WB Games closing a bunch of studios and canceling projects, so we got a good amount of things to talk about today. So like I said, hit that like button, subscribe, leave 5 stars and all that, and let's get started with what I've been playing recently. So I think I mentioned on the last video, but Avowed has pretty much been taking most of the time, or I might have been playing Stellar Blade at the time, but I will get back to Stellar Blade at some point, but Avowed has been taking my time. I'm going to do a like first impressions video, not for this Monday, so this Monday will be a Pokemon related video, so check that out. It's going to be see if we can name all 151 original Pokemon like challenge. Me and Avante did. We actually did for the first 3 generations, so the first it'll be like a 3-part video basically. So we'll do the first part, will come out for Kanto on Monday, and then at some point later in the next few weeks I'll do Johto and Hoenn. But yeah, Avowed, I'm really liking it. I'm liking it a lot. I don't know if I'm in love with it. I definitely like it a lot more than Outer Worlds and any other recent RPGs like it. Like, I'm not a big fantasy RPG person, but I do like what Obsidian's done here. And surprisingly, I think I'm more into like the fantasy RPGs than the like sci-fi kind of ones. I feel like I'll actually like Elder Scrolls 6 more than I wasn't really into Starfield like that. I wasn't into Fallout. I think, how Avowed's going for me right now, I think that's where I'll kind of fall in with that. But yeah, I'm a little less than 15 hours in. Pretty much wrapped up with the first area, Dawn Shore. So I got a good, the video will be pretty good as far as first impressions, and I think I have a good grasp for where the game's headed and the basic mechanics and things like that. So but let's get into the weekly game releases. So there wasn't a lot. You have this game Ninja 5-0. I haven't even heard of this. It was a platformer. It got an 82. It just came out on 25th, I believe, Tuesday. Then you had this Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days collection, which came out on PC and the Switch. And then we have Monster Hunter Wilds, which was the big game that came out today that you're watching this. PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, of course. And Monster Hunter, of course, 9 out of 10. You can look at a few of the reviews. Actually got the Metacritic must play, so that's good. We could kind of see. So on PC, it got an 88 on X with 40 reviews. Xbox, only 13 reviews, got a 90. And then PS5, 81 reviews, got it a 90. So yeah, people love Monster Hunter, so I'm not that surprised. See, great, I don't know any of these. Press Start Australia I've heard of. BGC gave it a 10 out of 10. Eurogamer Portugal gave it a 10 out of 10. Dual Shockers 10 out of 10. Noisy Pixel 95 or 9.5 out of 10. Atomics 9.5 out of 10. Destructoid. I'm guessing IGN gave it a 9. I'm assuming Comic Book gave it a 9 out of 10. Games Radar Plus gave it a 9 out of 10. So I've seen a lot of 9 out of 10s. A lot of 9 out of 10. So, I mean, good for Monster Hunter. Capcom, they continue to do what they got to do with between Monster Hunter, Resident Evil. Then they're doing some of these remakes. Oh, IGN actually gave it an 8 out of 10. That's interesting. Continues to smooth out the traditionally rough edges, smart ways, reducing friction, exceptionally well characters, while cars a little too close to the bone in some places, trimming its challenge back so much that it barely needed to dig into. Oh, I barely need to dig into its in-depth equipment system at all this time to become an Apex Predator. It's more flexible combat and some of the most fun I've had in the series. But like the blustering lightning storms are gorgeous as it burns brightly but briefly until Capcom unleashes some real endgame beasts to challenge it. So it sounds like the game wasn't that difficult, but that's fine. I'm not gonna keep buying it, so I don't know. Maybe I tried Monster Hunter Rise and World, and I don't know. I couldn't get with parts of it seems interesting to me, but it as a whole, the like monster, it's not monster catching necessarily, but like anything with semi crafting and getting this together and inventory management, like I don't know, it throws me off. But we did get a release date for Last of Us Season 2. So we saw the teaser a couple months ago. It said it was going to be on in April, but we didn't have an exact date. But now we know it is coming out April 13th, to be specific. And it's kind of following in that, that cadence that HBO has where you have like one show on and then you go into the next show. So you'll have like, I don't know, True Detective, and then you'll have, I don't know, The House of the Dragon, and then you have the next show. So you got White Lotus Season 3 is out right now. And then once that comes to an end, you'll have Last of Us sliding in right there. And who knows what's after that? Maybe Peacemaker Season 2. No, so good to see a date we got there. Now, I mentioned Nier earlier. So Square Enix did reveal they have a special plan for the 15th anniversary of Nier. So they're going to have a special live stream on April. I saw it before. Did not see the exact date. Where is April 19th at 2 a.m. Pacific time. Dang. So that's 5 a.m. Eastern, but still, yeah, that's too early. But for those not familiar with the Nier series, obviously, Nier Automata is or Automata, however you want to say it, is the most popular of the series. So I think 9 million copies across all systems. But originally, Nier came out in 2010 on the PS3 and Xbox 360. But then they remade it in 2021 as Nier Replicant, which I do have, and I want to play that before I finish Nier Automata. But Nier Automata actually came out before Nier Replicant in 2017 because it was technically the sequel, right? So yeah, and then they got the anime as well. So we'll probably get some interesting information. People think Nier 3 might be coming at some point, so we'll see. They had a mobile game too, it says here, Nier Reincarnation, which is actually in the picture of the little promo here for the live stream, so I don't know. I don't know if they'll come back to that or not, but it'll be good to see. But it says here too, it's interesting because it said if they're going to do it, they're going to see like who's going to handle the project, because Platinum Games did Nier Automata, but they had a lot of people leave. They've been helping Team Ninja with Ninja Gaiden 4, which Xbox announced at their developer direct, so we'll have to see. It sucks so like with RPG studios, we unfortunately see with people leaving, like the writing and mechanics and stuff like that suffer. And then when it comes to these like action games, a lot of the like atmosphere and stuff may be there, but like how they tell the story, the battle systems and stuff like that. Like Platinum is masters of that. Same with Team Ninja. So hopefully they could come up with something great to keep going. All right, now we got Fable. Did get announced that it is getting delayed. So there was a Xbox podcast with Tina Amini and Craig Duncan. So Craig Duncan used to be the head of Rare, help with Sea of Thieves, Rare Replay, stuff like that. But now he's the head of Xbox Game Studio. So they did this, podcast. I did a video on this as well, like I mentioned earlier. So check that out. But they pretty much went through Developer Direct real quick, just recapping what he liked, what's coming from Xbox and stuff like that. Kind of softened the blow a little bit, and then he was like, okay. And his literal sentence was, I just want to start with, I'm really excited about progress, really excited about where Playground are. We previously announced the date for Fable 2025. As soon as he said, like, if you start with, hey, I just want to start with, insert whatever sentence here, is going to be something kind of crazy. So he said that, and then he said they're actually going to give Fable more time. It's going to ship in 2026. I know it's not what people want to hear, but I want to show you it's definitely worth the wait. I have unequivocal confidence in Playground team. If you think about their history and legacy of Forza Horizon, the last 2 games critically acclaimed, blah, 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 stuff. And then he gave us some pre-alpha gameplay, so it was only 50 seconds, and I said this in my video, but I'm like, if you do, because they they delayed it, you got to show us something, because people are going to start kind of wondering, like, this is the first, like, moment-to-moment real gameplay we see. Like, we saw some, like, in-between cutscenes and stuff like that, but this was the first, like, real gameplay. We didn't see, like, a HUD or what type of weapons or companions. We didn't see any of that, but we got a good look at the game, and of course it looks great. We already knew that, because Playground, that's what they do with the Forza games. The combat seems like decent enough, and I haven't played any of the original. Apparently this kick and chicken thing is like a thing, but I haven't played the original Fable game, so I'm not sure what to expect from that. I think what I've heard is the systems, especially with the good versus evil systems, and how those decisions kind of affect the game, is the big part about it, the fantastical stuff and things like that. So we'll see. I hope they do what they need to do and help keep the essence of Fable. So it says this will be the first game since Fable 3 that came out in 2010. So, when it comes to, and like I said, y'all can see it in my video where I talk about it more, just talking about the release timeline and stuff like that. So, we already said Xbox for 2025 has a lot of games coming out, right? Like, including if you talk about like Game Pass releases, which aren't, they're not exclusives, but they're still like big things that Xbox wants to market to, and it's kind of adds to their little delicate dance of marketing, because if you're putting out one of your big games that are day one in Game Pass, you don't want that to get overshadowed by another big game like, say, Stalker 2, which happened last year with the Valve get moved to February. So we already got a Valve from them, which is great. I think it's sitting at an 80 still. Good check, but I mean, I like it. I like it a lot, actually. Like, as I'm playing it, I don't want to turn it off. I'm not feeling like, oh, I want to be playing something else. You get that sometimes when you're playing a game. But yeah, so on PC, it's sitting at a 78, but on Xbox, it's sitting at an 81. So, I mean, you could just call it an 80 even. But, it'll be interesting how they move, because, like I said, you had a Valve come out, then you got South of Midnight in April, then you got a big Game Pass game with Player Obscure, which is a lot of people, including my, like, literally most anticipated game this year. Like, I really want, especially coming off of Metaphor, this be 6 months removed from that. Definitely want to play that. Then you got Doom: The Dark Ages, and you got Showcase in June, which who knows what else you got to put out. You got Call of Duty, you got The Outer Worlds 2, like it's a lot of games that come out. Maybe Gears E-Day, a lot of people are saying. So we'll have to see what their big fall game's going to be, because the Outer Worlds 2, while it does have its fans, I don't know if that's the game you want to push for holiday. But I also don't know if Xbox cares that much. Like, we've seen the variety with what they're putting out with, a big, I mean, yes, it's a AAA experience, but kind of like AA studio in Obsidian. Like, they put out very good, almost super big budget games, but just a tier below that with at Avowed. And then you got what do you call it? South of Midnight, which is definitely a smaller niche artistic type game. Then you got Doom, which is the big, hardcore whatever. And then you got Outer Worlds 2, which is going to be another RPG. So I don't know. Maybe they don't care as much to have like a big, like, we need a Halo or a Gears or even Indiana Jones type of game in the fall. So we'll have to see. But if it's coming out next year, I wonder if that moves to the fall or if they're waiting to see when they want to release it. People are saying they might be avoiding GTA 6, but either way, more time's not a bad thing. It's only going to make the game better. So some people think that's because of the PS5 port. I don't know. I hope, like, this is kind of a sidebar. I didn't mention this in my video, but I've been seeing a lot of that talk lately, and I hope that, again, I've kind of been clear on, like, I don't care where the games get released as long as they get released, but if we're going to start getting delays because of you're now having to worry about optimizing these games for PS5 or Nintendo Switch 2, that's going to be annoying. Like, that's like, Xbox fans are not going to like that, and that's going to be something that is unique to Xbox if you're trying to do day and date. Now, if you're waiting 6 months to a year to put it on another console, then I'm fine with that because it's not interrupting the flow of development. But if that's going to start being a thing and we start seeing everything get delayed because Xbox is trying to put everything everywhere, that's not going to be fun. So I don't know if people talked about that when we first started talking about this whole multi-platform strategy, but that's definitely a concern. Okay, let's now talk about the Pokemon Presents. The Pokemon Presents happened today, and what I've learned from these, and I announced it, or I said it in my live stream, was that these are really for Pokemon fans. Like, you need to be a fan of everything that Pokemon puts out. You gotta like the apps, the trading card game, the show, it's a multimedia conglomerate bigger than anything in the world, in history. So if you're just looking for, you think they're about to talk about like 5 new games that's coming out, like the hardcore, new Switch release, and then what's going to be on Nintendo Switch Online and all this kind of stuff, like, that's not what's going to happen. So this is everything that's announced in order. So you have Pokemon Concierge, new episodes on Netflix in September. So that show's kind of like that stop motion type of show. What they're actually doing is, I think they're putting I believe it was the first 4 episodes of, I think, the first season on their YouTube, or maybe the second season. You got Flapple and Appletoon coming to Pokemon Cafe Remix. Pokemon Sleep is having a new event with Cresselia and Darkrai. You got Unova on Pokemon Go Tour coming out March 1st, which is going to have Black Kyurem and White Kyurem. I still don't know how to say those. So those are the things, like, I have Pokemon Go, but I don't really use it. But if there's some events where I can easily grab something and then transfer it to Pokemon Home and stuff like that, like, that's been the cool thing about Pokemon over the last few years, is they are connecting everything from the Switch and the phone with the trading card game connecting to your Nintendo account, Pokemon Go being able to connect to Pokemon Home and transfer into your games and stuff like that. So that's been cool. And I was actually excited about this because I do play this. The trading card game Pocket's getting so it's getting ranked matches, but it's also getting an Arceus event tomorrow or today that you're watching this. So I got like 200 hourglasses. I'm gonna just start going crazy opening all those packs. Pokemon Champion. So I did. I'm a link to the clip right here, but I got way too excited when they announced this because let me see if you can see the like I got way too excited because I thought this was gonna be either Gen 10 or I thought they were putting it on the what do you call it the rumors of Nintendo Switch online like Gens 1 through 3 or whatever because I'm like okay they're showing the original Game Boy, you got the what do you call it, the link cables, then you got them playing Stadium, there was like Game Boy Advances at some point, you got the 3DS or whatever, and then you saw this girl playing on her phone and I was like what is going on? So you got this new game called Pokemon Champions. I think it's gonna have Pokemon Home compatibility. They didn't really give too many, details on it, but the cool thing about it is I think, like I said, as big as Pokemon is, the same way that Trading Card Pocket is kind of getting people more into the card games and stuff like that, or people that can or don't feel like buying it. Now you can get battling and stuff without buying a Switch or buying an actual game. So, there's that. And then they ended the show with Pokemon Legends ZA. So it said launch 2025. They did not mention the what do you call it? They didn't mention the Switch 2, which is the main thing I was thinking for this reveal was, okay, how are they going to reveal it before the Switch 2 Direct, because you can't show it running on the Switch 2. But yeah, like I don't know. But we got to look at the starters. So this is literally, it's the Gen 2 starters, and then they put Tepig instead of Cyndaquil, which, I mean, it's cool, I guess. I'm gonna pick Totodiles. Like, I'm normally a fire starter guy, but we got to see, we're going back to Gen 6. The game's gonna be like an open zone type of thing, so you'll be in the city. They went over the basics of like battling and stuff like that. The cool thing too with the battling is now you can do kind of like the show where like someone will do like rollout or something and then your Pokemon could like run to the side. Like it's more real-time battling. You see Mega Evolution's making a comeback, Mega Evolution was probably one of the best mechanics Pokemon's had in a very long time, to be honest. See Zygarde right there. But yeah, it seemed pretty good. And I didn't know what this meant. I don't know. I haven't watched anyone's videos on it, but yeah. So that's coming out this fall. No exact release date. We'll probably get it at the Switch 2 Direct, I'm guessing, but that was all the announcements for Pokemon Presents. Again, if you're a Pokemon fan, like you're into everything, then sure. One of the cool announcements too, like I didn't know, maybe other people know this, but apparently like Spanish translations, so a lot of this stuff isn't out there like that. So they showed in Mexico, the head down there, he's doing they're doing a big commitment to getting translations to certain games and the cards and all that stuff. So that's good. That brings a lot more people to it. All right, let's talk about Warner Brothers. So here's some sad news. But a lot of people saw this coming. So Warner Brothers Games is canceling Wonder Woman and shutting down 3 studios. So they're shutting down Monolith, which was making the Wonder Woman game. They also worked on, I believe, the Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. It's the second game for the Lord of the Rings series. I have one of them. I should go back to it because I heard they're good, and I think I wasn't into those games at first, but now that I've played more games in that vein. I'll probably get into it, but so they're closing Monolith, Player First Games, who made Multiverses, and then Warner Brothers San Diego. So I don't know. Warner's been making a lot of dumb mistakes, and unfortunately, it's now getting into the gaming industry. So Warner Bros. Discovery is making even more big changes to its troubled gaming efforts. As reported by Bloomberg, the company's gaming division is canceling Wonder Woman, which was announced in 2021, and shutting down. This is from The Verge, by the way. Shutting down Monolith, Play First Games, and Warner Bros. San Diego. They confirmed in a statement, we have had to make some very difficult decisions to structure our development studios and investments around building the best games possible with our key franchises: Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat, DC, and Game of Thrones. So, I mean, Hogwarts Legacy was the best-selling game, not last year, but 2023, which is crazy. It sold more than Call of Duty. They're also rebooting that show with the franchise with a new show. I think it's supposed to come out next year, 2026. So that's coming. Mortal Kombat. Apparently, Mortal Kombat 1, a lot of people kind of fell off of it, but they got a movie coming out, I think, this year, Mortal Kombat 2. DC will know what they're doing with James Gunn, who we'll talk about in a little bit. And in Game of Thrones, so with the spin-offs, it makes sense, but we got that announcement of that Game of Thrones mobile game at the Game Awards last year, and it was like, Game of Thrones has been done for 6 years now, which is kind of crazy to think about. Like y'all missed a boat on that one. I don't know if people care as much, but it sucks, bro. It says, as for why it was canceled, our hope is to give players and fans the highest quality experience possible for the iconic character, and unfortunately, this is no longer possible. Then our strategic priorities. That sucks, bro. Because I think they already spent. Yeah, it says, as a previous report said, that WB's gaming division suffered $300 million in losses last year, bro. That's insane. I forget how much money. I think Multiverses was like $100 million. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. That lost a lot of money from Rocksteady. Like there. And then I think Wonder Woman, they already put $100 million into it because they had to reboot it. And that's the scary thing with this is, like, you might think, okay, a game's been in the works, so maybe, it'll come to fruition. We've seen Last of Us Factions get canceled after 4 years of development, so it don't matter, bro. And DC, they did this with a bunch of shows and movies too. The Batwoman show, they had to put Cape Crusader on Prime Video. Like, why is a Batman new, like, from the executive producers of Batman the Animated Series, why is that show on Prime? Like, they've been mishandling these IPs, man. It sucks because Warner has been in business for so long. It has so many iconic characters and IP. I mean, to the point where they could make a Smash competitor, and they just haven't been able to figure it out. It's trash. I believe the CEO stepped down recently too, so hopefully they can figure it out. But someone that wants to help them figure it out is James Gunn. So it says the DC boss, this is from Eurogamer, so DC boss is in talks with Rocksteady and NetherRealm to develop DC Universe games. So we know that James Gunn, after he put out, what do you call it? He did the Suicide Squad, like, reboot or remake. I don't know what you want to call it, but he did that. He has plans for his whole universe. We saw Creature Commandos. We got Superman Legacy coming out in July. Lanterns. We just got our first look at that. What's it called? We got Lobo getting played by Jason Momoa. The girl from House of the Dragon is going to be playing Kara Zor-El. So he's got his plans going, but now it says that he's confirmed he's in talks with both Rocksteady and NetherRealm to develop new games in the DC universe. This says Gunn laid out his plans for DC Universe back in 2023, which combines films, TV series, and video games into a singular canon universe, much like Marvel has done. Now, in recent DC Studios event attended by comic book Gunn and his co-CEO Peter Safran confirmed they're in close talks with the two Warner Brothers studios. They said we work incredibly closely, um, with JB Perrette, who runs that division. It's really the first time it's ever been this way at Warner Brothers. James and I sit down or sit with the guys that run the studios under JB, whether it's NetherRealm or Rocksteady. We sit with them and we talk about characters and stories that we're interested in and they're interested in. And then Gunn said we see designs for the projects in their very early stages. We talk about those. We talk about the story might be, and well, maybe you want to go this way because we're planning on maybe doing something with this character. Blah blah blah. But yeah, I don't know. So I'm of two minds with this. So the first part is, I think James Gunn is a brilliant mind. He did very well with the Guardians of the Galaxy work. He did really good with the Suicide Squad, Creature Commandos. So he's doing really well right now. But I think you don't want to get too overcomplicated. Like people were saying, like the MCU itself was already getting a little complicated. Now you're trying to do stuff across film, TV, animation, and video games. Like it's a lot, and I like that he has let like Matt Reeves, like I forget what they call it, other worlds or other else, whatever he called it, where there will be other stories being able to be told, like the Batman and Penguin and stuff like that. But I don't know, like I think it depends on how much he's being involved in this. Now I don't want it to get to the point where he's literally telling these creators, like we're just coming off of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which was terrible. Watch my video on that, by the way. Like Rocksteady needs to get back to what they're trying to do. I don't want them to have to, I don't want to call it bend to whatever Peter Safran and James Gunn want to do. But I think it's important to say, okay, hey, we might be doing this. Maybe we could do some collaboration as far as the story, maybe a little bit of the personality, stuff like that. But I don't want it to be where he's biting off more than he could chew and everything has to fit into a specific timeline, because that's what also happens. We're seeing it with Blade right now. Like when these things work together, it's great. But if you're trying to do all these things to work in sync and want the same characters to voice this or actors for this, and you're trying to fit into this timeline and you're trying to mess up their creative process, like that's where it could get really tricky. So I'm not mad at it. I think he can help, obviously. I don't know if he's mentioned anything about doing Injustice, but Injustice 3 should be the next game NetherRealm does. Rocksteady, people want them to do another Batman. Now, will that be the Batman that James Gunn is going to have for, what's it called, The Brave and the Bold? Who knows? But we'll have to see. I think, like, it sounds good in theory, but we'll have to see, man. We'll have to see, because that can easily go very left. All right, let's talk about this last story. So Bloober team, who did Silent Hill 2 remake, which a lot of people liked, so they signed a deal for another Konami game. So people are trying to wonder, okay, is it going to be another Silent Hill game? Is it going to be, someone said they should make Castlevania. I don't know. Bloober team, I think they did the Demon Souls remake, so they've had some pretty good success recently in the last 5 years. So it says Bloober team has announced it has signed a deal with Konami to make a new game based on the Japanese company's IP following the successful release of Silent Hill 2 remake. Now, neither Bloober nor Konami said what the game is or what franchise it's in, given their expertise with horror games and the success of the 2 million selling Silent Hill 2 remake. So that's pretty good. It came out in October, so 2 million in 4 months. That's good. And it's a remake, so it's low budget. Another Silent Hill game of the same type seems likely. Bloober said Konami will continue as both the publisher and rights holder of the mystery game. Um, so yeah, I mean, sounds good. I just don't know what it would be. Some people think like, okay, all right, here's the poll. So I said, which Silent Hill should they do next? It says Silent Hill. I think it's weird to. Again, I'm not a Silent Hill guy. No, I guess 2 was the one people really wanted. So I think doing that first, seeing the success, but then going back to do the first one is. I always think that's weird. That's what happens when you do a remake of a sequel, but not the original. Like you can't do it directly after. Like you can't remake 2 and then remake 1 after. That looks weird. Like Resident Evil did. They technically remastered or remake or remake, remaked the have made a remake of the first Resident Evil, but it's like they did 2 and 3, then they did 4, and now people are saying they need to do like Code Veronica or something, or a spinoff, or Zero, or the first one just rebooted for the 30th anniversary next year. And like they could do that because it's, they've already done 2, 3, and 4. They did 2 and then hop back to do 1. Like that will look weird. So you got Silent Hill, Silent Hill 3, Silent Hill 4, The Room, Silent Hill Origins, Homecoming, Shattered Memories, and Downpour. I'm guessing these are smaller, maybe spin-off games. I don't know, but let's see how many people think they should do 1. I'm just doing 1 just to see. Okay, so 1 got 61% of vote, 3 got 20%, 4 got 12, and then everything else is like 1%. So looks like most people want that first game remade, which I think makes sense after you already played the second one. Now, the thought process of doing that ahead of time was kind of weird. But shout out to them. Shout out to the people doing good remakes for people that haven't, like people that love these franchises that they're doing, and then people that haven't experienced it, like myself. It's good that those teams exist. That'll do it. That's it. Quick 37 minutes. So that's it for State of the Game Industry episode 24. Hopefully we won't get any more studio closures that I'll have to talk about next week, but that's pretty much it, guys. Definitely appreciate you guys. Check out all my other videos I've been putting out a lot of videos this week. This is like my 4th video. Like I did a video Monday, I did a video Wednesday, I did the live stream yesterday, and then I got pretty much Tuesday was the only day I didn't put nothing. So definitely check out everything I've been putting out. Subscribe if you have not already. Leave a like and rate 5 stars if you're listening on the audio version, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.